Kia ora, welcome back once again. We're here for part 3 of the Q&A. And so we're going to look to go through them. My bag fell over. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Not too sure. Where we are is this place here. Let's just have a look, show that around. So if the waves from the ocean are distracting, well, I'll know not to stop here again next time. Anyway, mindset and mental preparation. I've always looked up to the SAS, but I'm scared of failing. Did you ever feel that? Yeah, I was worried about failing. I didn't want to fail. So if anything, for me, that pushed me on. But it also forged the mindset for me mentally that I knew that it was a reality that I could fail, either through not being good enough, so being removed by the staff, through either being badly injured, and unable to continue, and I would fail, I wouldn't be able to continue, and or if I died, I would have died on the course and I would have failed. That's the way I looked at it. But what it did was it drove me to make sure and have the mindset that regardless if I did fail, that I was going to reapply and go again. So it didn't matter. I wanted to keep going and keep reapplying until I made it. Yeah, did I ever feel that? Yeah, I was scared of failing. 100%. I didn't want to fail. Next question. How do you mentally prepare for being cold, wet, hungry, and alone? Yeah, good question. I remember having this conversation with this individual. Preparing for being cold, like, you just get used to it. As a soldier, I was fortunate coming from an infantry background, joining the army to intentionally join infantry because I felt that would give me the best preparation to go to a unit like the SAS. You just do it, or you don't, or you go join another corps, join another part of the army. If being out in the bush isn't for you, or then don't apply for the SAS in the first place. Being wet, well, you just get used to it. You're going to get wet. You're going to be cold. It just comes. It's just part of the territory. How do you train for it? I didn't train to go out and get wet and be cold and be hungry. Being an infantryman, that was just part of your job. When you go out on field exercises, 9 times out of 10, the weather was going to be crap and it was going to be raining. And or they were going to go to places where they knew the weather was likely to be terrible, like Waiouru. So you get used to being wet and cold and hungry by being in those environments. Hungry and alone. Hungry, yeah, you do find out who you are when you're starving, when you're hungry. So, like all of that, wet, cold, hungry, and alone, you'll either adapt and get used to it, or you won't. And the alone part, I don't know if it's true, but at least for me, I felt, being an only child, even though I had heaps of cousins and stuff, and to be fair, I had lots of friends as well, still have many good friends, or people that I consider to be good friends, I was more than happy being alone. Like, I was used to it. Like, it didn't bother me. I'm still happy being alone to this day. Like, if I have to be alone, I can't describe it properly or maybe adequately, but I'm very comfortable being alone. And so if you want to join the unit, you need to be comfortable being alone as well, doing things on your own, and being self-driven to get things done. So that's that one. Next question. What kind of internal conversations did you have with yourself to push through? This was another good conversation with this individual. Internal conversations. My internal conversations were pretty simple. Keep going. That's all I told myself. Keep going, keep moving. If anything, a lot of the time, especially on the navigation parts on open country and the close country, a lot of my internal conversations and dialogue was, you're too slow, you're behind time, you need to hurry up. And so my dialogue was telling myself to move faster. Even though I was tired and hungry and probably, felt like I was moving faster, but probably wasn't really. Those were my internal conversations. Some might say that wasn't very positive to do, but it was positive for me. What it did was it pushed me along. So I guess, find whatever internal dialogue conversations works for you and lean into that and draw the best out of yourself through reinforcing to yourself whatever it is that you feel you need to. Whether you want to pat yourself on the back and tell yourself you're doing awesome, if that works for you and that spurs you on, great. For me, telling myself that I was too slow and that I was behind time and that I needed to hurry up, that worked for me. There were other things as well, like I think I've mentioned on other videos. I imagined that at the time my now wife, but at the time my girlfriend, I imagined that I was going to be seeing her at the next checkpoint. Don't ask me why. I knew that was never going to happen, but for whatever reason, it put a smile on my face and it gave me purpose, and it drove me along to push to make sure that I got to the next checkpoint and to every checkpoint after. Next question: how do you train to be mentally unshakable beyond just suffering physically? Yeah, that's a good point. For me anyway, I've shared this a number of times. Training and suffering physically has a high transfer and crossover into the mental aspect of selection, or anything that's mentally challenging and going to be difficult. So I can't say that I trained specifically to be mentally unshakable. I think just having a real clear understanding before going on selection, what it was about, why I was going, that my intentions for me were pure, in the sense that, not pure in terms of being innocent, but pure in the sense of I just wanted to be in the unit to serve, to be of value, to help others that potentially weren't in a position to help themselves, and to be surrounded by operators that, I could just have complete trust in. Does that mean I got on with everybody in the unit? No, didn't get on with everybody in the unit. I can tell you now, for me anyway, when push come to shove, if we were deploying on operations and doing anything together, even just in training, I made sure that I did everything to have my mates back. I didn't do anything to try to set them up to fail, and I don't believe anybody did anything to try to set me up to fail. We all were locked in and wanted each other to succeed. The fact that we may not have hung out outside of work is neither here nor there. I had a family and life to go to. They had their own lives and stuff to deal with as well. So that's that piece. Yes, mentally unshakable beyond just suffering. Yeah, get out and suffer. That definitely helps. What's the time? So we'll make this the last question. How much does overthinking hurt your chances of success on course? I think I'm probably doing more overthinking now than what I did on selection. I think overthinking stuff does have the potential to hurt your success. And what I mean by that is when people start thinking about what's next, what's happening in the next day, what's happening in 3 days' time, when are we going to get fed next, all those types of things. If they start to play into your mind, there's a lot of stuff. What do the staff think about me? Did I report well? Did I communicate well? Did I answer the questions well? Is my dress and bearing appropriate? Like, the staff looks like they've got a grumpy look on their face. Have I done something wrong? Did I say something wrong? There's plenty of opportunity to overthink. But if I could offer any advice, is just stay in the moment and stay on the task that you're on. If that task means that you've got to do the retraining and get smashed with a whole bunch of PT, and you've got to do certain movements and a certain number of reps, just focus on that. Don't worry about what's coming next. Don't worry about how long it's going to go on for. Don't worry about the instructors yelling and screaming at you, if they are yelling and screaming at you. Don't worry about the instructors that are calmly speaking to you, telling you that you're not going to make it. Why are you even here? You can't even lift that bar up. Did you prepare all these questions that will be thrown at you? Don't stay in the moment. Yep, you can hear that. Respond to them appropriately. But don't let that clutter your mind with thinking that now you've got no chance. Because if you do that, I think that's where you get into the space of overthinking things too much, and that's where you can potentially trip yourself. So that's that for this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. Apologies if the audio isn't that great. I'll learn from that, do better next time. But whatever challenges and trials, struggles you may be going through, keep turning up each day. Stay in the fight. And until the next video, see you next time.